to. You can go down with us. And we're recording with Mr. Dave Collum and Mr. Jim Kunstler, and soon, I would imagine, Mr. Tom Luongo on Thursday, June 5th,
This is where
2025.
we make jokes about Tom busy having sex with his goats or
Of
something
course.
because he's not here.
Well, that's the least controversial comment about sex in the last hour internationally, in that Elon Musk is now accusing, said the reason why the Epstein files aren't released is because Donald Trump is on them. So that's
What? I heard you guys chatting about that, but just as I was
like
sort
in
of
the
getting
last
ready
30
to sit
minutes.
down. I, do you think all this is real? It
I
is.
have no idea. Part of me is like it's at the absolute apex of wealth and power, so maybe it's a show. Another part of me is like that's a big accusation. That's you normally don't pull the pedophile card during a
Yeah. The other
kayfabe,
stuff.
kayfabe, whatever the
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
I think that Elon may be a little bit too into the drugs.
You
That
think
would
he?
be my
Well,
guess.
he
The way he's
could be.
behaving.
He's
His behavior looks kind of reckless lately.
too many lines of coke.
Well, whatever it is, ketamine, mushrooms, I don't
Yeah.
know, psilocybin, who knows? But he seems to be behaving rather childishly. And, uh, a lot of people predicted that this relationship would blow up, and now it seems to be blowing up. Trump canceled SpaceX's contracts, or at least some of them, and that really pissed off Elon. Uh, but God knows why he did that. And
Yeah, what's the genesis of this? I get the
I have no
barbs, but
idea.
like, how did it start? It starts from Elon.
What was the trigger? Yeah.
Yeah,
The trigger was that Elon was indignant over the big beautiful bill and the fact that the did not um, Congress did not get rid of any of the things that the Doge had found in waste and fraud, or at least whatever was on Congress's plate to do that. They had to go through some process to certify that a lot of the spending that Elon's Doge found was not kosher. And
But
they
it
were
has
supposed
to be, he has to be mad at Trump for signing off on it, having nothing in it, right? That's
Yeah, and
ultimately.
all the time that he put into it, I think he's indignant about the time that he may feel that he wasted doing Doge, but I don't know. I think Doge had some very salutary effects. It was really important to dismantle USAID because that was the main funding stream to the wokest troops on the ground, and so
It also had a big
that's gone.
intelligence connection, I think.
Yeah,
A big
yeah.
intelligence connection.
So I don't know. I think that Elon's maybe too heavy into the drugs.
yeah, because it seems I get that. I understand his reasoning for it. I'm not naive. I don't think he just has some burning passion for government efficiency. I think he understands it as like a system of systems and runaway debt, and I get that. It just it just seems odd to come out to endorse Trump, do that huge Twitter space with him last summer, kind of push him on Rogan, push the Rogan interview, go on with Rogan the night before the election and really endorse, and then the whole honeymoon period, and then uh, it seems odd that like I feel like this isn't all of it. Like how is I get that I understand he's passionate about it, but that's the catalyst.
I don't know, but
Well,
he's really blowing. If he really wants to damage the this effort by half the country to clean up the government, then he's really out of order. I mean, it's not something that he should have gone public with like this. It's very vulgar and stupid.
Do you think this is just an
well, they are the two
accountability
most unfiltered people on the planet, so it
and
could be a
the two most powerful? I don't know, Putin has
yeah.
nukes. I mean, I think it's also I'm I'm surprised at how it's unfolded, but I don't think I actually am surprised. I mean, it's like having two Michael Jordans on a team. Like you have to have like the superstar. They really can't coexist. I That's a wild accusation to
But
say
you
you're
know,
on.
Elon Musk should have realized that Trump is the boss in this situation, and he's not. Elon's
So he
not the
could have
boss in this
quit.
situation.
If he had just quit, I would have said that makes sense, right?
Yeah, or just sort of resigned like a gentleman, or just,
Yeah, right, right.
uh,
It's a
he didn't behave like he's not behaving like a gentleman, and I think that's not good. There's a reason that people have to behave diplomatically, because otherwise, you can really upset a whole nation or a whole system, and I don't think that's a bucket you want to kick over.
I
No,
yeah, I don't.
And you don't want to start a civil war in, the whatever you call this Trump movement, MAGA, or the conservative half of the country, or the non-woke half
Well,
of the country.
I was gonna say, it might be that he's like, hey, fuck this thing. I'm gonna stick with my true passion, which is making us multiplanetary, but he just tanked that, which is odd. It's not like he's
Wow.
falling back and going, like I do a video game stream. I don't really give a shit if it fails. The podcast is my thing. But he's throwing them both out. He's going, I
Yeah.
don't, I'm not doing, I'm just gonna go to Rockets. And then, I mean, I get it. Trump's also a big baby. I'm not surprised he cut all. I would be absolutely open to the idea that this is all theater if it wasn't an accusation about being on Epstein Island. That, I feel like if it's theater, I feel like that's going, whatever harm that does, I think would outweigh the good. But, I mean, I, I hate to say it, but I don't think Elon's wrong. I mean,
I
why
don't know.
have
I
to
think he
take?
could be talking out his ass,
He
really.
could be fucking coked to the gills. I have no idea. But why aren't the files out? Trump has nothing to lose.
Well,
The
I
second
mean, there is
term
an
is in his
explanation,
80s.
but you might not like the explanation. The
What?
explanation is that there was all this material that they found in February when they went, they had all this trouble with the New York office of the FBI, which is a big office, and where a lot of the Epstein material was lodged. And when they found that a lot of stuff was being hidden, Pam Bondi fired, or Patel, excuse me, fired the guy who was running the FBI office in New York. It's an important job. And then they said 1,000 agents to go through this Epstein material. Now, that's what Pam Bondi said. I don't know if it makes sense to people, but that's what she said. So, and I think that Patel has uh, confirmed that at various times over the last 2 months. But, who knows?
Yeah, I guess I look at it and like you can't, because it to me at least, in my simplistic understanding of all this, you can't be the total force of like not giving a fuck. You're in your 80s, you're worth billions, you've already been president once, you're in your second term, you not no reelection, and they try to blow your head off. It would make all of his other actions, I feel like, fall into place with this. Yeah, you send the Marines to the southern border, you slash USAID, you start doing tariffs. Those are all what I would imagine as somebody who's going, fuck all of this, you just tried to kill me. I have nothing else after this. I'm truly going to be the person that you feared I was, except for the Epstein thing. You think that would be the one thing he's gonna? Oh, and I'm gonna kill all the everybody in the deep state that here's evidence that they were on an island with kids. It's like why isn't that out? To me, I have no other logical explanation. What's up, Tom? I have no other logical explanation than like there has to be some form of complicity. I can't think of anything else, and I've been thinking that for a couple months now. I'm like I can't take a bite of the it's 5D chess. Like no, dude, why isn't it out? You're doing all these other kill shots. Why aren't you releasing them?
Why don't you let's ask Tom if he got the news. And
I'm sorry.
Tom
What's the?
Tom is the
I missed
news.
I'm sorry. I'm late.
No, yeah,
No, dude. I'll be honest with you. I was doing another show, and I'm like, I looked at my phone, and went, oh shit.
dude, I don't
Sorry, I'm
care.
late.
Dude, I don't care.
So what are we talking about?
Elon said the reason that Epstein
I know.
files haven't been released is because Trump is on them. He tweeted that.
And
he's gone to war
everything
with
else is
Trump.
blowing up. Everything is blowing up. By the way, MTG just said I'm not supporting the big beautiful bill. And
She's
she's
been
been a
saying that for
very,
3 days.
yeah, I know, but then she's been a loyal soldier for
Yeah,
Trump
like
for many
hardcore.
years. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the zillion dollar
My
question is it theater or not, Tom?
So wait a minute. There's another part of the story.
What there
First of
is?
all, you have to realize, Tom, that Trump canceled the SpaceX contract sometime in the last 36 hours, and so Elon is really pissed off at Trump. And he was already pissed off about the big beautiful bill because it didn't contain the Doge cuts supposedly, and that's where things stand. So Trump apparently retaliated by canceling the SpaceX uh, rocket contract, and now Elon has retaliated. So there's a civil war going on in MAGA now, and my theory is that Elon is too deep into the ketamine and mescaline.
Is is he openly on? Has he
I
been Tom?
well, what I would say is I mostly agree with Joe on that. For the main for well, two things. One, Elon Musk is not the world's most stable person in the human in the world. Um, Two, it is the full court press in every way across every excuse me every venue vertical to turn Trump into the villain about everything. I don't care
Mhm.
if it's Russia, Ukraine. I don't care if it's Israel, Gaza. I don't care everything. Everything is bad. This is I see this, and I've been saying this for a couple of days now. I literally just got done with and I'm doing an hour and a half with someone else ranting about this, that the bill itself has to get done in order to, regardless of whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. It almost has to get done in order for Trump and company to do anything else. It is the last roadblock to Trump dismantling um, Davos's control over our government. And
Mhm.
it's without that happening, without this getting done, Trump's presidency unravels.
Hey, I got
Like
to ask you, Tom,
completely.
hold on a second. What are the
Sure.
devices in the big beautiful bill that would enable Trump to dismantle the Davos control? And
It's really quite simple.
yeah,
Jim, actually, it's not anything in particular specific. It's the fact that once it passes, he doesn't need Congress until the midterms. The country is funded, and
Uh,
now he can start through the midterms, and now he can start working all the other things that he wants to get done because it's done and it's codified after that. And so, where is Davos's control over our government at this point? That's the most powerful. It's the it's their people in Congress and the Senate. It's the five, and it's all the people. It's all the usual suspects. And
mhm.
this is like when I see, like I was just saying this to Brandon over it. I was doing the thing with Green Candle Investments. I did this show. I said when I see the black eye show up, somebody got thrown down the
yeah,
stairs.
what in the yeah,
Harry
Whoa.
Reid,
the Pope?
Mitch McConnell, John Roberts, Elon
John
Musk,
Kerry.
John Kerry.
That is
Every
weird now that you mention it. All these guys turning up with black eyes.
at moments
Obama,
when
did you mention Obama's black eye?
I forgot about that.
Damn.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well, in the
It's the
dark world
so it's I guess it's
of occults and trafficking and shit, they explain it. So
this is the thing. So it's a structural issue,
you
and
know what they
that
say it
once
is?
this is
They say
done,
it's
now
an
Trump and company can go start going after all the bad guys, all the squishies in the primaries. They can then set up for the second half of the term where they try and really overhaul things by getting a real majority in the House and Senate. They're setting up for the second half of the term with this. That's what they're doing. They're
And you
trying to
don't
get
think
that done.
someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene understands that?
That's a good. I don't think I know Thomas Massey doesn't get it. I know Rand Paul doesn't get it.
Well, don't you suppose someone sat them down and explained it to them? Like maybe Stephen
And
Miller made
then you
a
have to
made
ask,
a trip up to
right?
Capitol Hill?
And then you have to ask the question: okay, why are they doing it then? Remember, Rand Paul had his freaking ribs broken by his next door neighbor.
Yeah.
who didn't do
Like this
jail
is where you have
time. who
What's
didn't
that?
do jail. He didn't do jail time either. That was weird. Rand Paul had serious injuries.
Yeah.
He had surgeries. And the guy didn't do jail time. I'm pretty sure when you attack a U.S. senator, jail
Yeah.
time is in your future.
And
Right.
I'm retarded. I completely forgot to hit go live on Rumble Studio. So now it's live for everybody listening. I'll upload the file again after this, the first 10 minutes, so you don't think that we were all compromised talking about
So we
Epstein
were
Island.
recording for what, YouTube or
No,
what?
no, no.
What?
We were recording. I forgot to hit live on Rumble Studio.
Oh,
It's
okay.
all recorded. I have the whole thing, and it's live right now.
So speaking of guys who are doing too many lines of something, and there you go, Tommy.
Yeah, yeah, I know, right? I'm doing fucking. I need to
So,
get some. Yeah.
so that's my basic take is that this is, and we're seeing like, so you got Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal and Mike Pompeo going over to Ukraine the weekend before the big escalation,
Boy, do I hate those
negotiating with foreign,
motherfuckers. Boy, do I hate those
sure, all
motherfuckers.
violating the Logan Act,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Apparently
Right.
doing
And
diplomacy
Lindsey,
without, being entitled to do diplomacy.
Well, or they were sent there
Uh,
by somebody.
well,
now, right.
don't you suppose that maybe they should be arrested when they arrive back in the States and maybe charged with treason or something like that?
Wouldn't that be lovely? But
Unless they were sent there.
Unless
By
they,
whom?
Well, that I don't know.
whoever has legitimate power.
It doesn't matter who
Now-
sent them there. It's their behavior is what matters. They went over and they did extracurricular diplomacy. They did foreign policy.
Well, here's the
How do
other
you,
thing.
how do you know it's
some.
extracurricular?
I
is the
think it
question.
carries some
I'm
weight.
just-
Who sent them?
Yeah, very much so.
I think now Dave's question is the right one. Now, the other question I have is, what do you think about Lindsey literally saying, I have enough votes to push through these ruinous 500% tariffs on China and Russia in the House and the Senate? What do you think he's doing? He's literally usurping the power of the president.
Uh-huh.
And what I've been saying for the last couple of days about Lindsey, and I've been in this mode for a while now, Lindsey loses to a ham sandwich in South Carolina in the primaries. He's down 15 points. Like, he's at the end of his career. So if he's owned and operated by somebody else who controls the middle envelope quotient on Lindsey Graham, I think we got our answer this week, because Lindsey is being used up. He's a rapidly depreciating asset if he's not going to be.
So that
right?
was a suicide mission then.
Yes. But that was a use it or lose it moment, Dave.
There's
He's an
money
asset.
there's money in the Caymans, Pandora papers.
Yeah.
Go do it. Your time has come.
Yep.
I guess. I don't know. This is all.
And this is where I've Dave, I think you remember, I've always had a problem with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I've never bought her.
What about her disturbs you?
She just like sometimes you just get a feeling about somebody. I'm not really gonna she always seemed to be on the wrong side of the issue at the absolute right moment for the bad guys. And every time she did, and Massey does the same thing. And I'm like, really?
Yeah. I'm following.
Okay.
I'm following Tom.
Do you think Lindsey was over there trying to start World War III?
What's that?
Do you think Lindsey Graham was over there trying to start World War III? And what was Pompeo up to?
Well, he was in Odessa.
Yeah, what was he doing there? Well, what exactly was he doing there? He's giving a talk of some kind, but to whom?
And what message was he bringing to whom?
Uh-huh.
These guys are messengers. So Lindsey Graham and Blumenthal go over there. They do the glad handing and they stand in front of the microphones and everything else. But what they're doing is, they're being messengers, because some things can't go over, these things.
They have diplomatic cables.
It's like similar to Viktor Orban last year during the campaign, going around the world and meeting with everybody, and then ending up at Mar-a-Lago, right? What was Viktor Orban doing?
Well, I doubt that Pompeo and Lindsey Graham and Blumenthal were carrying a message from Donald Trump.
No. Clearly, they were working for the other guys.
Yeah.
So there's operational. Now we're watching, OPSEC in real time with various people moving around the
Yeah. So
world.
my question is, why aren't all three of them in a room being interrogated by the FBI?
because they're the other guys.
The FBI are the other guys? What?
The FBI is the Praetorian Guard, and it depends who they're
I
guarding.
don't. Yeah, I don't think that they are with Kash Patel running the FBI. I don't believe that. I
I
just
don't,
don't buy
he's
that.
been a disappointment.
He's been disappointing.
Yeah, he's been yeah. No, Jim, it's those are
Or
the
is
right
he
questions,
literally?
but they also apply to every politician for the last 80 years. It's like, how come they
Here's
have Patriot Act to whatever the fuck?
let me put it. Let's just game plan some other stuff out. Um, Patel, Bondi, Bongino, all these people who are now, persona non grata within because they haven't done enough, or are they doing everything they can to clean up the system that they inherited that was so goddamn bad? And it's literally at this point, the best you can do is just start the cleanup process. I was talking with Dexter White about this the other day, and he brought it up to me. He's like, "Yeah, why this all this talk about getting out of the Hoover building? Remember, Patel has been, and that may in and of itself be the only thing he accomplishes in the first year or so at the FBI. And let me just finish this by saying the following: there's a floor at the FBI where all of the secrets are buried. How do you get those secrets out? Well, if you've got, it's like it used to be the sixth, seventh floor Foggy Bottom, like it's the State Department. Like the first thing Trump did when he walked in 2016 was he fired he had Tillerson go in and empty that room out, right? That the floor out. It's the same thing at FBI. So that's where all the bodies are buried. That's where the group, the cabal that you say there's a traitors cabal within the FBI. They're all there. Now, what do? You get them out of that building and then you move them other places. And no longer do they have the ability to coordinate and cordon off like they have in the past. Literally, I have to start thinking about this at a very practical level about how bad things actually are. And even Trump wiping out the seventh floor Foggy Bottom wasn't enough to reform the State Department.
That's for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of rot. There's a lot of institutional inertia.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying I don't understand why Patel himself is a former U.S. attorney. He knows how to depose somebody properly. Why doesn't Patel himself personally? These are three important people: Lindsey Graham, Senator Blumenthal, and Mike Pompeo. Why doesn't he personally depose them?
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, if you can't trust anybody else, then he can do it.
I understand that, Jim. Now, how does a guy like Lindsey Graham, who we know is compromised as compromised as the day is long, how does a guy like him survive in Washington for as long as he has? Who does he have?
Supposedly blackmailing everybody else.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
Exactly. So now the question is, like everything else, how do you untie the Gordian knot? How do you unwind all this tangle of
You start
spaghetti?
with the people who are not being blackmailed, and they can't all be blackmailed. Not all of them. There've got to be quite a few of them who are not.
Or you allow this, or you allow over time. What you allow is for the rot to be exposed on its own as it defends itself, and slowly but surely, the lower order folks start singing and turning. That's the process. I think that's the only process that matters.
But are you saying that that's all happening in secret at the FBI?
I don't think it's happening in secret. I just think it's happening outside of the public. Not the public. We're just not looking at it.
Well, I think we understand that
we're focused on the stuff that they give us. That they give us.
I think we understand
generation.
that Patel and Bongino and others at the FBI are very busy right now. In fact, it looks like they just have so much stuff that they got to take care of that it's driving them crazy.
Right.
But they are doing something.
And the Epstein file thing, I think it's very obvious that those were struggle sessions. Those guys look like they were giving confessionals, like forced confessions. They look no different than people who've been Bongino and Patel when they went out and said that Epstein killed himself. I don't know about you, but they just look like guys who were like,
They
yeah, we
had
have to say
guns to
this.
their heads. Yeah.
Linking in Morse code, right?
I
Yeah.
don't even know.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I'm not. I'm
Well,
not. I'm not willing to go that far. I just think they. I just think that they had to go out and you know.
But they
I,
didn't.
I'm
So they didn't have to do. That's the thing I don't understand about that. That was not the hill to die on. If I would have expected them to say,
we're working on it.
uh, exactly, and then have a die of old age. But they said the most. That's
That's
like going
what
out and said, "Look, I've seen the files, and Oswald killed Kennedy." Why would you even bother to say that? That's the
I'll tell
question.
you why. It could have been a ruse in order to just say, based on what we have in our files, we believe he committed suicide. But it doesn't obviate what may not yet be in their files or what they may not have yet discovered. So, maybe they're buying time saying that. I don't know. It would be, I don't know.
it's well
Or
we
or like everything else, the Epstein file that was a negotiated settlement. We'll give you this. We're getting all of these other things. Like at the end of the day, it's Washington deal making. These are the way.
yeah,
This is
it's
the way shit
slimy
gets
to
done.
it's the
It's
slimiest place
slimy
on
and it's
earth. It's
awful, and we all want it to be clean because it allays our anxiety.
yeah.
And we're doing our best to try and read the tea leaves as best as possible. No, I'm not, I'm not discounting anybody's anxiety about this stuff. Of course, it's anxiety inducing. Of course, you're right to feel that way, but just realize that the world is sadly so much more complicated and so much dirtier than we would like it to be.
Well,
And fixing it is not a linear process.
There's one move that Trump could make that would change things up pretty quickly. He could just come out and declare that we're not going to be supporting Ukraine anymore.
On that point, Jim, I still think that that all that happens after the bill passes. Again, the bill is the roadblock because if Trump, look, Graham's flex about Ukraine and the tariffs, that was a warning. We want you to support the war in Ukraine, or we're not going to support your budget. If you make a deal with Iran, we're not going to support your budget. That's what this. We are going to burn your
I don't
presidency down.
understand the budget.
That's it's
Let
right
it. No,
there.
no, I don't.
I just think the bill is everything.
I don't understand why Trump doesn't just say, "Fuck it, they'll pass it. Your problem, not mine."
Because he's trying to actually fix the problem. You like. Otherwise, his entire presidency is done. So they win. That's their win.
No. So they don't pass the budget. Then explain what happens. So let's say they don't pass the budget.
Okay, they don't pass the budget. Then we're dealing with this shit into the fall, we don't have a process. None of the border doesn't get the stuff that he wants to do on the border doesn't pass. He doesn't have the funding cliff wall does not get dealt with. The bond market fucking blows up because the bill is about making a statement to the world that we are trying to fix our fiscal house. Period.
This is about doesn't the bond look market. Like that at all, though. The bill doesn't look like it the way it's being presented. The bill looks like
numbers. The budget projections are bullshit, Dave.
No, I know,
they're bullshit.
Everything's bullshit, though. The problem is the bill. So great example. Here's a micro disappointment where Trump with an EO got rid of FEMA. FEMA has no value, precisely zero value. They're destructive. Getting rid of FEMA is a net gain. And then 2 days ago in the news, I heard Levitt say, FEMA's on it. I go, what happened if they got rid of FEMA? At some point, those of us who back this guy have to see something real, not just headlines. We have to see something real. And so I don't, this big, beautiful budget, which supposedly adds just a fuck ton of debt, I don't buy it that's important. I'm with Massey on this one. I'm with Rand Paul on this one. I want it to not pass. I want to cut shit out. It's always, we will do it later, Tom. This is, we'll do it later.
Dave. Again, have you? Okay, so you're with Massey and Rand Paul, who are clearly stating shit that is wrong about what they want done in this bill.
I have no idea what that
This
means.
bill is about mandatory spending, Dave. Under Senate budget rules, Stephen Miller's laid it out explicitly clear. Under Senate budget rules, only mandatory spending can be dealt with. They have cut $167 billion a year of mandatory spending. Mandatory spending.
Give me an example.
Discretional spending is handled under rescission rules or under a proper
Give me an
budget
example
process.
of the mandatory spending they've cut. Give me the
According to even the
billion.
CBO says it's $167 billion.
What'd they cut?
So if that's what they're doing, then that's what they've done. $167 billion a year of mandatory spending cuts.
So the claim is it's going to add huge amounts to our debt. Are those just lies?
They are, because as Miller has explained multiple times, and people are listening to Massey and they're not listening to the guy who actually helped write the fucking strategy, that the CBO's budget projection started with reinstituting the old pre-Trump tax tax code, and then started that at zero, and then called the tax cuts adding to the budget deficit. It's most of the quote unquote budget deficit, or the deficit that we're going to run, is based on extending the Trump and making permanent the Trump tax cut plans. And as always, the CBO
let's get to it. I don't support tax cuts. Period. You know why? You get what you pay for. I don't want to hear tax cuts make the economy work better. You know when that worked? That worked back in 1960 when the upper tax bracket was 90%. That's when the tax cuts helped.
All right, you and I are on the exact opposite side of this.
But
because the CBO, because under these tax rules, the CBO said Trump's tax plan is going to add this much to the budget deficit, and it didn't. It didn't even come close to adding that much. Not even close. So they always overestimate what tax cuts are going to cost, and they always under talk about or under project what tax raises are going to generate. They always do this. Always. Every fucking time. So
we've had that's the scenario. Huge monotonic increases in our debt. When's that going to stop? When's that going to stop? Just give me a date.
When the bond market blows up.
I don't know.
Because that'll really
Kamala Harris back in charge? You think that's going
No. It's an honest question. Okay. We're up at 38 trillion now, and that doesn't even include unfunded liabilities, which take us up to 250 trillion.
Are those numbers still correct?
The numbers.
I question those numbers too, because I know full well that all the old projections based on our Social Security and Medicaid are based on actuarial tables that are no longer valid. Because sadly,
why are they no longer valid?
Post-COVID. What's that?
Why are they no longer valid?
Because the boomers are dying off faster than people thought they would.
Well, those are sort of Kotlakoff numbers.
Are running really fucking hot.
And Kotlakoff's numbers were at 235 trillion.
And life expectancy in the country is falling.
Say that again, Tom.
Life expectancy in the country is falling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, so we're solving our unfunded liability problem.
I know you're going on. I've been on opposite sides of this for a long time now. I would rather this right now. I'm not saying I'm happy with the fucking bill, but I'd rather this than watching these assholes in Congress who are all just trying to position themselves to not get primaried in the friggin' spring.
But what if we cut?
So that they can, because we know what Europe is doing. Europe is doing exactly what they always do, which is force us to extend and pretend into the future. This is about the funding cliff. How are we going to get, if we don't give certainty to the bond market right now, how are we going to roll over $11 trillion?
I want the bond market to blow the fuck up. Let's put it that way. I want to see the bond market blow up. You know why?
Dude, you're more of a goddamn Gen Xer than I am. I'm trying to fix the goddamn thing. You want to blow the whole thing up.
The rates are wrong. The rates are wrong. You want to know what the rates are wrong? Here's how you get the rates are wrong. Right now, what's the 30-year at? 4 point something, right?
5.
Right.
5.
4.95. Would you buy a 30-year bond and sit on it for 30 fucking years at 5%? And the answer is no.
Yeah,
no.
But
the answer is no.
But the minute the fucking 20-year went to 5%, we had the best.
I don't care.
That's 20-year bond auction we've had. We had 15 years.
Would you buy a 20-year at that interest rate and hang on to it for 20 years? No. No.
Bonds are bonds are tradable instruments, and
no, they're not.
Time, we're still dealing with central banks are still a major part of the goddamn are still a major part of the friggin'
once you
demand curve. And if they're buying, I'm not worried about it.
Once you create that bond, it's in the system, and maybe you don't own it, but someone owns it. Those bonds interest rates are wrong. They're not being determined by market forces. Well, therefore, I want the rates to go up.
Obviously. Okay, so would you buy a German 30-year at 2.5%?
And nor would I buy a 100-year Argentinian bond at 6%.
But that doesn't. But Dave, that is literally the argument that these people are making that have nothing to do with what's actually happening in the real world, which is that there is still demand out there at these prices because of the way the system exists as of right now. You are in a transition state from one attempt, one type of funding process for the United States, which is through taxes and extraction and debt issuance, versus another one where we're talking about investment and tariffs and and defending the par value of the domestic dollar. That's what we're dealing with. It's a fundamental shift. And
I want capital.
You're not going to get that. Not going to change that tomorrow. No, and trillions of dollars of capital are not going to move. They're okay with
capital to be determined by free market forces.
Okay,
which means the bond market has to blow up. The bond market has to blow up.
Okay, that's why I'm moving to Tennessee, Dave. I don't want to be anywhere fucking near civilization if you win. And that's the world that Davos wants. And that's the world that Davos. I'm not stupid. I'm going to hedge.
Well,
I'm
apparently
not a fucking idiot.
My name Dave is close enough to Davos that I must be
No, seriously, but this is what Davos is literally trying to blackmail you into believing. When they're the ones. Did you look at the German production numbers?
Blackmailing me.
What about him?
Why would I? Why would I?
Were you talking about MERS or?
Hey, blow the bond market, blow everything up, and start from scratch.
Tell me about the German production numbers.
Oh,
you didn't see the article in Zero Hedge this morning that the business situation in Germany,
bankruptcies galore,
and is worse than 2008. Okay, and yet the German 10-year has been capped at 2.5% for 3 friggin' years by the ECB.
Tell me why the DAX is exponential.
Because the DAX isn't exponential.
Because they have
if you look at the weekly chart, it's actually beginning to roll over. But what I will say is this: why?
But it's been exponential for a long time.
Stop, and I'll explain. Why? Because when the German 10-year went from negative 0.6% to 2.5%, what do you think happened? Oh, and 2 things happened. You had that, so they move out of bonds, they buy in stocks. Second thing that happened is that the Germans then pledged to spend how much money on defense, which is going to destroy the bond market, and it's all the money's going right into German defense. There's people front running them spending. That's what literally that's about. And when you're dealing with the first stage of the collapse in Europe,
okay,
which is the false move up in the euro.
Okay.
First stage of a currency collapses, the currency rises.
Okay.
Then it falls. Why? Because everybody's worried about tomorrow and production and how am I going to pay for anything? And I got debt to service and I got payroll to make. And so as as exports drop, especially for Germany, as exports start to drop, you're going to have a rise in the currency. It doesn't hurt that I still firmly believe, having watched all this, that none of this is happening in a free market. Like, I know that this isn't a free market. We know the currency markets we know that they're not free. We also know that this is all happening on the edge of the G7 conference and then on the NATO summit. Like everything is happening right now in order to turn everything into, oh my God, the United States is about to explode. When the reality is that everybody else is the one that's left holding the bag. Look at where we are. Look at what's happening to Germany. The euro is up since Trump took office. 12%, the euro is up. And there's a 20% tariff. Soon to be a 50% tariff unless they stop fucking around. Right? Why do you think Trump threatened the European Union with a 50% tariff? You think it was because you think that they're trying to shake Apple down for $1 billion in GDPR or the other stupid data privacy bill? No, this is about them trying to start fucking World War III and getting us involved in it. That's why he did it. Because Moody's downgraded our debt in the middle of all this shit. No, you want to talk about a market, the Europeans are literally talking about going to a central bank digital currency in October, launching the friggin' thing. How do you think they're going to get that done? Don't they have to default on everything? Don't you want to make, if you were them, would you want to make yourself look like the belle of the fucking ball? And make your opponent
Tom, the problem is your system
look like the one that's falling apart.
This worldview, I'm going to call it out. This worldview is so complicated, yet you profess to understand it, and that's the problem I'm having. There are so many moving parts to this that I can't. All I can tell you is I should be able to get a better return on my goddamn fixed income. Period. So this whole world geopolitical shenanigan is on my back. It's on your back. It's on the back of everyone. It's on the back of every pension fund.
I know.
I want to go back to market-driven rates.
I agree. And how are we going to get there?
By letting the bond market go to shit. By letting we should have
and watch the entire world melt down.
So what happened when the bond market went?
I'm sorry, Dave. I don't want to live in Mad Max. I just don't want to do it.
Can I get in here for a second?
We've had a 40-year bull market in bonds, and now you're saying we can't have a bear market.
No, I didn't say that. We are a bear market.
No, yes, you are saying that. Yes, you are saying that.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, that's what a bear market. Well, then therefore the bond market is going to blow the fuck up.
I think you were missing here. Hey,
let Jim speak.
Let me get in here. What I think we're missing here is that, Tom, you're theorizing that we are in a transition, and it's a pretty momentous, profound transition.
I agree with that.
And I don't think that happens without inducing some kind of disorder, terrible disorder in the system. I think that anytime you go through and then it depends how it expresses itself. Is it going to express itself in economic turmoil or financial turmoil or political turmoil or both? It seems to be doing a bit of both right now. Or it can go kinetic into warfare, which is, what do you call it? It's geopolitical turmoil. But all three of those things seem to be kind of up for grabs right now. And we shouldn't be surprised that a lot of that's happening. And we should also understand that when things do start to get disordered, you get a lot of surprises happening.
Jim, I agree with you on all those points. Dave, I don't even disagree with you that we're not in a bond bear market. The 10-year was trading at 1% 4 years ago. Now it's trading at 4.5%. That's a bear market. I called the beginning of the bear market bonds of the day. I get you.
Well,
I'm with you.
Anyone who sat
I don't think they have to go to 11% to clear the market either. That's the point.
they have to go to 11% to clear the market if it was a free market, in my opinion.
And obviously they can't go that high because then they'll completely disorder the repayment problem
So what you're
and the servicing
describing,
problem.
you're describing is
a muddle?
a
Would you
gangrenous.
prefer a muddle through? Would you
No,
prefer a muddle through?
not a bit.
We've been doing that for
muddle
20
through.
years.
The muddle through sucks.
No, we
balls.
haven't been doing that. This has
Yes,
not
we
been a
have.
muddle through at all.
Yes, we
this
have.
has been
Yes, we have.
this
Yes.
has been a systematic hollowing out to the point of collapse.
That's a side effect.
The muddle. That's
a
muddle.
side effect of the muddle.
That's the muddle.
No, that was policy.
That's
That
a
was
muddle.
policy designed to destroy the United States. I am on that. That's where I am. That's where I've been. I do not consider it this an outgrowth of Bob. No, I think it was.
So it's an exogenous it's an exogenous force.
I think there was exogenous. Yes, I think there's exogenous forces. I do. I think that we have been. I think we have been systematically and systematically betrayed at every level. And I think that what we're dealing with now is the beginning of the turn in the opposite direction.
So
it's being fought tooth and claw. And that the question now is: Are we going to figure out a way to take the assets that we have and fix as much as we can, and begin the proper turn? Or are we going to just say, you know what, problem's too fucking big, let's just burn it all down?
So was the Federal Reserve complicit in this attempted destruction? Yes or no?
Up until Powell started Institute Sober, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So that would
Bernanke and Yellen, like they literally betrayed the fucking country.
I agree.
For 12 years post World War post 2008
by
and
jerking around with in a capitalist system. The most important market of them all is the price of capital. And they subverted it. Yes. I'm asking to get it back. Now, I am too. The reason I challenged you is because you're describing a very complex system that I believe is going emergent. It's a bunch of nonlinear equations are going emergent. Therefore, you can't predict. You can't predict is my point.
I know. But I'm not saying
you've got this. They're going to do this. They're going to do this. If this happens, this happens.
What I'm saying is they're all doing everybody is acting in their existential best interest.
That's right.
And the question is, what I'm trying to figure out is what's the path through that we win? Because I'm on the side of the people who don't want the pedophiles and the fucking vampires to win, who have been winning and destroying our lives for the last 500 fucking years. That's the side I'm on.
I think the question really is, does Mr. Trump have to assume some kind of emergency powers to get through that bottleneck you're talking about? And if so, that will leave him open to the charge that he's become a tyrant, but he may have to do it anyway.
But who cares? Because they tried to blow his head off. It's his second term. He's like 90.
I've been, Jim, you're
breaking up, Tom.
What I'll say is,
the CIA has jumped in.
It's his Starlink. It's his Starlink.
It's terrible weather over here in Florida. You know, I'm on Starlink, guys. I'm sorry. Jim, that is my exact worry. Is that at every turn you see, like you watch the judiciary overstep its bounds. We've talked about this in previous shows we've all done together, right? What are they doing? Well, they're trying to get Trump. They're trying to push Trump to the point where he has to rein in the judiciary, suspend habeas corpus, and just do what needs to be done. Why? Then they can turn around and call him Hitler. The same way that they're trying to get Putin to nuke Berlin for, or London. Why? So that they can call him Putler. It's the same thing in every venue.
Well, let him call you Hitler. Let him call you Hitler. Let him call you Hitler. What's the... They tried to blow his head off in front of his family. Who gives a shit? Yeah. Become what they fear he is. Be the man that 2016 Reddit thinks he is. Like,
okay. Tommy?
Yeah.
I agree with you. But you got to get the country to the point where they're willing to back him and not everyone else.
I think we're almost halfway.
I don't think we're too far away from
No, I agree
I
with
don't
you.
think
We're at
4
some kind
years
of
ago, I'd
inflection
say
point.
retarded. I'm just like the people, the guys I interview, the generals, the SF guys. Man, the temperature has changed over the last just the 5 years I've been doing this show. Of like, no, a tyrant's a tyrant. To basic, I mean, the general phrase has kind of moved along. Like, yeah, democracy's failed now. King Trump. Like, that's not me saying it. These are not guys
I
that throw
I
words lightly.
talked I talked to a foreign intelligence guy who I consider to be very well grounded.
Jeffrey Epstein. I would love if
and
Epstein jumped
and
in right
and
now.
he's not way up the system, but he gets to talk to the guys way up the system, and he says the Ukraine war is going to go on for years.
I believe that.
That's fucked up.
No, it's evil.
I
It's just, but it's
Martin
the
Armstrong's been saying that for
the
a long time as well, and everything he's hearing from his people on the ground
the
are
nu
like
right.
the
Europe is planning
nucleus
on
of
this for the next
power
10 years.
and the nucleus of power and money on this planet is based in the U.S. military industrial complex, which has to feast. It's not right, but it's not going to stop. We're out of the Middle East. It needs a new thing. It's just what it does. It's pure evil, but it has to move on to the next thing.
What
It's
I
gonna
would what I
be
would say, Tommy, is what I would say is that when I can understand, I think what Trump is trying to do is give the U.S. military contractors a reason to reinvest in the parts of the military that we have neglected. It's like Obama gutted the military and yet still sent us overseas. Now we have to spend a lot of money to refit the Navy, rebuild new ships, like the infrastructure. There's so much of the quote unquote military spending that's in this bill that can literally be, oh yeah, we're rebuilding this bridge in Minnesota because it's a national security issue because it's part of the interstate highway system.
which yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, which
you
it is.
remember that. Yeah, remember that. Like the Department of Energy, or that regulated nuclear power, right? That was not. That was just out. That was DoD spending outsourced to a different department.
The DOE, yeah.
So there's a lot of some of this stuff that can get done under certain. You change the definition.
So
You
it can
move the
still.
money somewhere else in order to spend it. In order to spend it under that, and then of course it opens you up to, oh, he's increasing military spending. Yes, but
No, I'm
like
with
there's a lot
you.
of bridges.
You could keep the military industrial. You don't go full Kennedy because his heart was in the right place, but his head wasn't. But like but don't I'll be right back. Um, it's better to judo it in that fucking build an Atlantic wall. Build like a World War II Atlantic wall, put turrets all up and down the coast. As long as Raytheon and Grumman still got contracts, like, hey, ideally we wouldn't have the military industrial complex, but the realistic case is like, yeah, they're either gonna go knock over some poor third world country, kill a million civilians, or build something here. So I mean, that's what I hope it does. But I think ultimately, just I don't understand jack shit about finance. But listening to both of you, I do think, and this is probably not any profound take. I do think you both agree. And the thing that just popped into my head is like, if you have a friend that just, if you ever had a friend that just drinks way too much, and it's like it passed, it's a problem. There's two ways to look at it. Sometimes you're like, I'm gonna grab that fucker, I'm gonna bring him to a sober house, and I don't care if he hates me, I'm gonna get him sober. The other part is you go, I'm so fucking pissed off at him, let him plow his car into a tree. That's the only way he'll wake up. They both are rooted and you want them to get better. It's just sometimes you're so done with it, and another time you're like, yeah, well, he might not just hit a pole, maybe he'll kill someone else. And like I think you're both at that spot. It's just different paths to get there. And I could be completely wrong, but Dave's kind of at like the fucking shot of vodka at sunrise, like let it burn. And Tom is you're like, maybe we can kind of maneuver it. They are demons from hell, but maybe we can. I think you're both at the right spot. I could also just be a complete faggot trying to find middle ground. I have no idea.
I'll be honest with you. Like, I think that that we that it wouldn't be better if there's another, it's like that the long end of the yield curve doesn't rise a little bit more. Sure, right. I think that's I don't have a problem with that. I don't want Powell cutting rates, for example. I've been quite adamant about that. I'm like, and I don't really think that Trump and Powell are. Trump likes to talk, but he met with Powell. They talked. There was no Neither of them said anything afterwards.
I think Trump gave Powell cover not to cut rates. I think Trump gave Powell not to cut rates, gave him the cover.
Exactly. Absolutely, he did. And I think that's the right. And I think that's the right play at this point. Inflation's not down, and employment's still not bad. It's starting to roll over. The latest jobs report wasn't good, but we'll see where we are in 2 months. But Powell's not going to cut rates in June. Is he going to cut rates in July? I don't know.
Are we in a situation where a bad recession will lead to catastrophe?
Well, it could lead to the Democratic Party taking over Congress in 18 months.
That's not I mean, that's a catastrophe, but no, I'm talking about something truly ugly. I mean, truly, forget Democrats versus Republicans.
Like COVID level.
Are we no longer capable of tolerating a bad recession? So, for example, Volcker knowingly hammered us right up the ass.
Right.
Someone's echoing. Is that me?
I don't know.
I hear me echoing, but I don't know why it would be echoing.
Tom, do you normally wear headphones?
They're not echoing on our ones, but it's an unstable connection.
I can hear that.
For me.
We appear to be at a point where the patient can no longer take the medicine. And that's what I'm griping about. And I'm saying, make them take it.
I wonder about when you talk about Davos, it seems to me that all the major players that may be associated with Davos are floundering themselves very badly.
They are.
They are. The Germans and the French are floundering. The Dutch are now going through another convulsion of leadership. The EU, led by Ursula von der Leyen, is under attack. And, then they're stuck with this terrible immigrant problem all over Europe that none of these countries seems to be able to resolve. They're doing it stupidly. What happened in Germany over the last week was ridiculous. They said that they were going to not allow any more asylum claims to be taken at the border, but they're still allowing people to do that. So they can't even enforce their own government regulations. So I wonder. I guess my question is, if they're all floundering and they're all not really able to even manage their own problems, who do you suppose is in that mix directing our
again? This is happening at the financial level. Okay, this is why I keep talking about this. They don't care about us. They don't care. They actually want to destroy all the national governments. Like they want to
care about their own national governments.
They're absolutely. They want to tear down the Italian government, the French government, the German government. They want to push everything up under the rubric of the EU. They want fiscal, political, and military integration and bond market integration in Europe to create the quote unquote United States.
They're going to start a civil war in Europe. The Europeans aren't going to stand for that. They're already pissed off at the EU.
I know. What am I going to tell you? This is what they're doing.
They're going to have a civil war.
Gantt chart's still up there. I'm not saying it's going to work. What I'm saying is all we have to do is not fuck up this moment that we have and let them eat themselves. And that capital that's there will allow us to make the transition. As that capital drains out of the world, it will drain into the U.S. and it will buffer the worst part of the reorganization and the chaos that you talked about, Jim. It'll force all sorts of issues within our capital markets, Dave. Yes, and we are going to have to pay higher interest rates on that than Trump says he wants. But as long as you can get the process started,
wouldn't the first thing that would happen would be that they would put capital controls on their euros?
And they're getting ready. They're going to dump capital controls. They're already talking about it.
Then how does the money leave Europe and come to the United States?
Well, then Europe, but then what will happen then was that then we're going to find out for real that there is no bond market in Europe. And
And
then I'm
then
not
they
worried about
blow up.
Then I'm not worried about European capital at that point. But if they start a freaking war, dude, it'll all just collapse. And then they're going to have to then default on all their debt. And then are we going to look as bad as Europe if they default and issue, new debt after they stiffed everybody for 16, 18 trillion dollars or $30 trillion? Because they have a shitload of debt too.
Well, they must go through a
It's a good
period of time
question.
when they can't issue any debt under any circumstances.
Well, we have a global
And
debt
so-
problem, so
We do. No argument. No argument. Like we have an absolutely global debt problem.
Yeah.
So the bigger question is, is there I'll be honest with you. I don't give a fuck about anybody else anymore.
That's where I am. That's where I am.
I don't give a fuck about anybody else. I care about the United States.
I thought you were talking about me.
I care about the United States. I don't really give a fuck about anybody else anymore.
No,
No,
I'm
that's
dead
exactly right.
I'm at the
no,
point
no,
now
no,
where
no, 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 no,
in
Monroe
order to get
Doctrine.
through this,
I'm with you.
I'm back to we have the best constitution in the world. We are the colony that got away.
We the resources,
That
we got
they want
oceans.
back.
Fuck
We're
off.
the only ones who can reboot the world.
But then
Let
who are
me-
the
We're the only ones
traitors?
who can reboot the
Who
world.
are the traitorous fucks among us in America who are making that impossible
What's that?
for us
Lindsey
to
Graham.
survive? Yeah.
Lindsey Graham.
And how
Oh,
are we going to
God,
deal
there's-
with them?
That is a
Victoria
pro.
Nuland.
That's it. Oh God, there's so many, but like
That's why
what are you gonna
that's
do?
why I say they got to get in a room with Cash Patel, and he's got to work them over with 30 inches of rebar.
And I agree with all of you about all of everything that you guys have brought up. That I'm not pushing back as more. What I'm saying is like, look, we can do that and muddle through, is what I'm saying, and we can do that. And if by some miracle, because
Well,
look,
what's your definition
look at
of
what's
model? What's your definition of model? I'm having trouble
we
with
muddled
model.
through. We muddled through with a mild recession, another round of commodity cost push inflation, and and
One can make the
we
argument
wind up.
that we're
We
in
come
the
out the other side. We come out the other side with a 3% budget deficit and
And $42 trillion in debt.
and a sovereign wealth fund worth a couple of $1 trillion that we can move Social Security and the unfunded liability of Social Security onto
Where's
that.
the
That's what I'm.
sovereign wealth fund come from? Where did the sovereign wealth come from?
Well, we can start with Fannie and Freddie. We can start with gold. We can go to gold. We can go to the royalty streams off of opening up the natural resources that we have. And
So you want to
start that
nationalize the
investment.
oil market?
Oh, I'm not telling you that this is going to be capitalism.
Right. I'm gathering
Okay.
that.
I'm not saying this is going to be free market capitalism. Okay.
It's called state capitalism.
It's going to be power,
Oh,
naked
I
power.
think we're going to do a lot of things that are not capitalism, not free market economics.
America 2.0.
We are not.
Let's go.
That is unfortunately where we are headed. And I hate to break it to everybody, but it's either that or because the EU wants the structure of the United States with the government of the USSR. That's what they're planning. They want the member states subordinate to an unelected Politburo. That's what they have.
I think it's almost.
And when all they need are singular debt structure. If they don't get that integration, then we're going to wind up. Then again, what Trump is setting up. Look at what he did in the Middle East. Look at what he's doing around what is now Southern Europe. If the war, if Russia is able to survive this period where I think the EU is going to break up before the end of the decade. I'm with Martin Armstrong on this. But the interim period as we go through this process is going to be very, very dicey. And you expect a cornered animal to be extremely dangerous. And that's exactly what we're seeing.
But I think you muddle through with a mild recession strikes me as sort of fantasy.
We've done better than I'll be honest with you, Dave. We've done better than I expected.
Well, I
Both.
actually happen to be reading my 2013 economic analysis,
Uh-huh.
and I've got phenomenal quotes from world leading economists and money managers and stuff talking about how fucked we are. We are 4 times more fucked. And that means either it doesn't matter or we are really going to get fucked now. And I think the system's going to go emergent. I think the system is really going to lose its shit in a Kunstler book number 16 way. Right? You'll be able to write that book. And I think we are at the point where where the powers are so afraid of a recession. The idea of inducing one is outlandish to some of these guys, which used to be standard. And so I think at this point we're in stage 4 liver cancer phase, and I just don't see a way around it. So I kind of want to get to it. I want to get to it.
Do you think there's I know this is a retarded take, but do you think there is kind of like an AGI red button? Whatever we have, you know that they're fucking 30 years ahead. Do you think there is like a, hey, we can really you can let this thing off the chain? It's some DARPA thing. Do you think we're at a point
No,
where
I don't
like
believe that.
just as a thought exercise, when you go, it's all so fucked, and it is trillions raised to the trillionth degree variables. The point where even Elon just is like, it's what the fuck. Do you think there is just like a fuck it, press the button?
No, I think that what Dave just mentioned, he used the word emergent. I think what we end up with is events are in the driver's seats and not personalities, and the behavior that is produced ends up being emergent, self-organizing behavior.
We are suffering from a 40-year recency bias. 40 years. For 40
Mhm.
years, the Fed's been twirling knobs
Oops.
and pulling us out of tight spots. What happened to Tommy there?
This is my camera.
Okay, so he's choking the chicken.
Oh yeah.
Tubing, baby.
Hell yeah.
Um, and that I think that recency bias has left us with a sense that it will continue in some sort of similar way going forward. Now, I don't think so. I think we have reached the end of the chain, and
Hmm.
I think this emergent issue is going to be very real. And I don't think that I think, for example, trivial. I don't profess to understand this. I'm just saying trivial thing. We have for 40 years thought that when stocks go down, bonds go up in value. That game's over. We're now going to have parallel bear markets. That's precedented. It happened in the 70s. But in the 70s, we had 30% of debt to GDP. We're now way the hell up there. We don't have we don't have the tools left. I think if the Fed winks at the market that we're going to save you, I think inflation expectations will take control. And they will either have to do something that is not only inflationary looking, but in the face of a tsunami of inflation. I think we've used every last tool at the Federal Reserve. And as I like to say, there are a lot of tools at the Federal Reserve. And I think I think we've run out of tools. I think this is the point now where it is one of those things where you are hopelessly addicted to all sorts of shit. And it is time to go curl up in the corner in fetal position and shake like crazy and hope you don't die of some seizure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think this idea of saying, well, we'll just take on more debt and deal with it later. I am personally tired of people saying, we'll do it later. We'll do it later. I'm saying, do it now.
I don't think we are doing it later. I think that this is a process of, again, it comes down to, I agree with you, Dave. One, the central bank dominated world is
over,
very close to going away.
Japan kind of warned us. Japan kind of warned us.
Forget it. This is the idea of the central bank that controls the monetary arbitrage, right? And the cost of capital, I think, is going away. And I think that what I see, and what I've been arguing for is a move back to, and Dissent has made this clear, that what he wants, which is to take power away from the Federal Reserve.
Who
And
did?
I
Who
think
did I
that
miss the name? Who?
Dissent himself said, look,
Percent.
that banking regulation, for example, should
Yeah,
not be
yeah.
under the purview of the Fed. Okay, so that's one aspect of it. That's in my mind, that's a dog whistle that says, look, the Fed has too much responsibility. The Fed has too much power. Some of that power needs to be clawed back to the Treasury, and that I've been arguing for a while that I think that we go back, that we figure out a means by which to get the Federal Reserve back to its pre-Banking Act of 1935 structure, which is, and we'll not get that by having the regional banks set regional interest rates within the U.S., but SOFR with a domestic debt indexing rate, we can have that de facto, because capital can compete amongst itself regionally, because we have a debt indexing rate tied to the domestic economy versus tied to LIBOR, right? I've made that part. The other part of it is that, so if we have we bring the Fed back to the lender of last resort for the domestic economy, not necessarily the Treasury market, but that's a stretch goal. Let's just start with the original conception of the Fed was lender of last resort for the domestic commercial paper market with no international role. Today,
boy, that's a distant memory.
It is. It is. But let's think about, let's talk about what's possible about the modern Fed, and how that, because dollars are now global. Now you have to look at the Fed as having two fundamentally separate roles. Its dual mandate is no longer stable prices and full employment, which are always bullshit in the first place. But because they could never actually achieve either of those things at the same time. They were always
correlated.
They were always at odds with each other, right? But a lender of last resort for the domestic paper, for the domestic markets, and an enforcer of the international par value of the dollar at the same time. I think that's a role that the Fed and that's absolutely on the table. I think. What's that?
It's been so many decades. That would be great.
I don't think it's that far away.
Well, that would be fine. But guess what? When that happens, that's going to be chaos.
It's already happening. What do you think this is?
No.
This is chaos,
No. Here's what is noticeable about modern era finance, and that is the markets no longer price discover. The markets no longer respond to shit. This is, what my metaphor is? Anyone who's raised a child, the kid's 2 or 3 years old and they're acting up, and you're trying to reprimand them and they're not listening to you, and you're sitting there going, oh, fuck, this is going to end in tears, but we got to do it, right? So the kid is just resisting the reprimand. This is going to end badly. And I think it's time that we do this. And I don't think it's one of these things where the Fed should crank up the rates to shut down the economy to fight inflation. I think the Fed has to go back to doing what you said. Lender of last resort is supposed to be punitive.
Yes.
Badget. Supposed to be. It's not been punitive for decades and decades.
What was the punishment?
Agreed.
Punishment was high rates. The punishment was, okay, Goldman, you guys, we're going to bail your ass out, but you're going to pay 12%.
Right. You're going to pay.
I'll tell you what I'd also like to see. Here's a trivial thing. Yeah. I would be okay with some law that said, define the C-suiters, whatever they are, the top echelon of a bank. And it says that if we have to bail you out, it's going to be punitive. And by the way, you are all going to forfeit the last 5 years of your compensation. Think fucking hard before you fuck with your bank that requires a bailout, because we are going to come and get your assets. So if you need to be bailed out, you personally are going to give back 5 years of compensation, period.
Yeah.
And you know what those C-suiters would do? They'd be more careful. But you know what it would do? It would create a credit crisis, because their sphincter muscles would tighten up hard.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'd like to see.
Now take that same rant
Yeah.
Substitute commercial banks for foreign central banks.
I don't even want to worry about foreign central banks. I
That's
agree
what,
with you. The United States.
But that's what we have at our disposal now. We have that power in a way that we've never had before. Dave, this is where the recency bias that you talked about earlier is the problem, because you're analyzing that behavior based on an old model where we did not control the cost of our own fucking capital.
I don't think we should control the cost of our own capital. Why should we?
We should.
Why does a committee of 12 retards, undeniable retards? Let's use Tommy's term. Why do we let 12 retards make the call on the most important market in capitalism? Dave, 12 retards.
We have a market rate for that capital now.
No, we don't.
Well, we have more market rate than we had before. Yes, we do.
But we don't. That's my original pitch. We don't have a market rate. If we had a market rate, if you bought it for any of the treasuries, there's no market rate. You know how? One of the ways they control it, they have various legislative mandates that force buying treasuries, and that provides a false floor underneath the treasuries. If when you bought a 20-year treasury, to hang on to it for the revenue stream, I guarantee you it's not priced right. It is not priced right. No one in their right mind, if I said you got to buy a 20 or a 30, put it in a lockbox and hang on to it, what interest rate you going to demand? 9, 10?
Okay, so let me ask you the question, Dave. What are you doing with your money?
Gold.
Anything else?
I have cash right now, hoping that I have some platinum I bought the other day. The reason that I don't like your model is because your model is kicking the can down the road, and I am sick and fucking tired of sitting on
I'm not kicking the can down the road.
No,
Dave.
no.
I am literally trying to build a world. I am literally trying to organize a world with lower levels of leverage than we currently have. That is not kicking the can down the road. That is not killing the fucking patient.
Doesn't do it. The beautiful bill is not good progress. The fact that FEMA still exists is not good progress. The fact that Musk just quit because all his efforts are for naught is not good progress. I hate turning on Trump because I don't want to be a fair weather friend. I don't want to say we put him in there now, do your job, and then turn on the second it gets uncomfortable. I hate that. Okay. But I want to see that he's trying to get it right. And the problem is I'm seeing these little indicators that say, I got duped. And I'm hanging by my nails.
And that is literally what in my mind, that is literally what the demoralization campaign that we are living under right now.
I totally get that.
Yeah, no,
I totally get that.
I'm just not willing. Look, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not willing to. I consider that the fair weather friend.
Well, but the problem is,
it's tough. This is hard.
Where did FEMA go?
What's that?
He said they were kicking out FEMA, and where'd it go? It's still here. And this is why the little things like Patel and Bongino saying Epstein hung himself. It's like, and Bondi in her fucking notebooks. I go, and Kennedy chasing fucking Fruit Loops instead of fucking vaccines. If there was no action, if it was slow, if it was quiet, I'd be fine. It's the bullshit that's got me nervous. It is the bullshit that's got me nervous.
You're not nervous, Dave. You're literally calling for the dismantling of the entire.
I'm literally calling for progress.
No. Okay.
That's what I'm calling for. Someone else jump in here.
Well, Dave, it seems to me you represent a lot of people who were discontented with the government before the election, who were expecting a lot after the election, and it's not rolling out in a satisfactory way. My guess is that the sludge in the system and the personalities who are dragging it down are considerable. And
I agree.
it's just a tremendous, sick, twisted opposition that is very hard to overcome. And it's a battle. So this is what it is a very complex, non-kinetic civil war that's going on right now.
I'm praying you're correct
I
because that motto works for me.
I really think everything
That's
that
my model. That's
Hold on.
all I'm saying. And I'm saying that at the same time as saying you have to get this fucking bill passed so that you can get rid of the sludge.
Yeah,
It's not that hard.
So
Get rid
I
of
may
them.
I may be suffering from
Neutralize
not
the most
from
powerful aspect of Davos's control over our fucking system, which is the shitbags in Congress
well
who are entrenched power brokers that have been there for 50 fucking years. Most of them should be on fucking Medicaid.
I think I think
Seriously, these people their brains are cooked. They're 82
Hey.
years old. They have no business being in fucking
hey Tom,
Congress.
one word.
Not on the fucking me. Like when I
One
started
word.
this,
One word. One word.
Xanax.
One word. Decaf.
that was decaf.
Xanax.
The
Dude,
problem
I'm not
I might be-
serious. Like
the
this is what
problem I
all
might
I'm
be-
saying. It's like come on. Like do you want miracles? I give you. Do you want miracles? You're not going to get them.
No, I
this
just
is
want
what this looks like.
I want consistency. I want consistency.
They're not.
I really think it's all. I think everything.
and the lack of consistency is the counter strategy to what is the perceived lack of consistency is the fucking strategy. That's how you run the clock out.
Let's get the fuck away from Davos. Let's get away
these
from
people
Davos.
literally believe they can outlast Trump, and they're doing it. And you're
Why are
giving,
we why are we still vaccinating 5-year-olds? Why are we still vaccinating 5-year-olds with COVID? Why has Kennedy not dealt with that? What horse trade? What horse trade?
The story is that he made a promise to Senator Cassidy that he wouldn't do that with the vaccines. And I don't know if I believe that story.
With COVID?
Well, that's the story, but I don't know if I believe it. That's how people explain it. The only other explanation is that he feels or perhaps must approach this thing by the smallest increments to just incrementally get rid of it. I don't know.
Well, if I had a dead 5-year-old tomorrow,
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
No, there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people in the alt news and the web who are complaining about it. And Naomi Wolf was published a Substack today saying, you got to shit or get off the pot, and you got to, we don't need more data to understand that these vaccines are dangerous and harmful. So make a ruling, get rid of them. But he hasn't done it yet, and I don't really know what sort of pressures he's dealing with. It's very hard to understand. We're talking about all these various agencies, the Health and Human Services and all of the things under that, the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, the DNI office, National Intelligence Office. What we don't understand is why this reform is so difficult. Why is it so difficult to fire a whole bunch of people who are, who you can easily determine whether they're, guilty of crimes or misbehaving? Has Pam Bondi or Kash Patel insisted that all these agents and lawyers take lie detector tests and answer some basic questions about, the kind of fuckery they've been involved in for the last 10 years? You could determine that fairly easily at the FBI.
Well, my opinion of Pam Bondi was never good, so I'm at no point.
Yeah, but it must be easy to determine which. It can't be that hard to determine which FBI agents have been involved in all misbehavior of the last 10 years. And we know the guys who were involved in the Mueller commission. We know the guys who were involved with Russiagate. Now, some of them have retired, but some of them are still there.
Right.
And why haven't they had well publicized firings of these people? Why is there all this agonizing? We haven't heard from John Ratcliffe in like 2 months. What is he doing at the CIA? Is he closing down whole departments as he should be, or firing people wholesale as he should be, or giving people lie detector tests and figuring out what kind of fuckery they've been up to? That's the most puzzling thing of all.
I think everything we're discussing, if you were to look at it like a bunch of streams going down to a central ocean or pond, and they all approach different ways, and some of it's rain and some of it's water tables. I truly think everything we're discussing, from vaccines to Cash Patel to fucking Davos, and I'm not even gonna say it's objectively good or bad. I think it is all leading to a point, and there's two forks in the road. It's either kinetic war or a strongman. I don't think there's any in between. I think this is where everything we're talking about, the one common theme is there's not. I had three brothers, and my mom ruled with an iron fist. But every once in a while, we'd start to push back. And when my dad came home, it was like fucking Hiroshima. There was an undisputed that was the Enola Gay. There was no constitutional crisis. It was four little running and crying and screaming, and the power was laid down. Everything we're talking about right now, from fucking going after Cheerios instead of vaccines to, whatever the LIBOR rate, it all seems like all of this is happening and has been manifesting in an absence of recognized power. And I think we're reaching a point where no one's going to step in. And like Tom said, because no one wants to, well, they're going to call me Hitler. Eventually, someone's going to go, let them call me Hitler. I mean, what did Trump tweet like his first week? That Napoleon quote, "He who saves his country breaks no laws." I think that's where we're going. And if someone doesn't do that, and you can say it's noble to not take the reins, okay. What is not maybe
Okay.
noble is the subsequent civil war. I think this is where it's all. I think it's all vaccines to Epstein to fucking '08 to
It's a
the.
civil war. Tommy, you're
It
correct.
is,
It's a
and it's
civil
all.
war.
So it's all coming up to, is someone going to say, "I'm
And
the king,
I
eat
just
a
think
dick,"
I just
or no? I think we're all just. I think we're all explaining different facets, different roots of the same. Where
We're
is it
grabbing the
going?
elephant. We're
Yeah,
grabbing
we're
the
all
elephant.
going. We're going. Fuck this. This is a trunk. No, these are nuts. I think it's all going to some fucking foundational. Like it will no longer be the republic. There will be something else. I think that's where we're
the
going. I could
goal
be
is
wrong, but
chaos is the goal.
yeah.
Fourth
Like
turning
Or is
down
chaos
the
is
somebody
the
going to
goal.
lights.
step in and go, "Fuck this chaos"? Is someone
Well,
going to?
I think they're successfully turning Trump into Abe Lincoln, or
That's
giving him an opportunity to play that role.
And I think he's going to be at a
An
point where he's
interesting
like, "What do I
analogy.
care? What did they try to blow my fucking head off?" Eventually, I think he's going to wake up one morning and he's going to go, "What do I care?" What does he not have? He's got a golden penthouse, three wives, a fucking casino magnate, wrestling heel, WWE billionaire, crypto coin. Like, what does he not have?
I don't even think that equation is the one that is in his head. I think the guy really cares about his country. You know, my problem with Trump is that he's kind of strangely inarticulate. He
I
just can't
think,
explain himself very
no,
well. But
I
I do
think all
think
the
that he
equations
cares about his
related.
country. Huh?
Yeah, I agree
I
with
think
that.
all the equations related. I don't think it's necessarily I have everything, so now I want one more, or I have everything. I don't care if I lose it. I think it's all tying in. Like he's done it all, and he's just whether they hate me or whether I'm a legend. I think he's reaching a point where he's just like, fuck this.
It's an exigent situation where,
Exactly,
you know,
and he's the
he'll be
guy,
forced to make a decision about what he's
and
going to do.
everyone's gonna flip out, and it's gonna be some
Yeah.
monumental. Like, where were
Well,
you? Remember that? Where
is
were
that the
you?
good news is that the firearms are on our side.
Correct. Thank God.
well, well, I mean, no, seriously, this is what the Civil War looks like,
Yeah, no,
right?
no.
And I think if we go back to the years before the war between the states broke out, we see the same level of histrionics, we see the same level of chaos, and we see the same external exogenous forces working the edges of our society to induce that outcome.
Yeah.
Like
England certainly was.
obviously.
Yeah,
And so it is actually in some way to Trump's credit to allow this to try and avoid that
Yeah.
moment as much as possible and get to say pass the fucking bill, and then we'll start, and we can start fixing everything else. This does fix some things. It doesn't fix everything. Let's fix my metaphor is really simple. Everybody wants this to be like this. It's 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. You're down by 3. Bases are loaded. Reggie Jackson versus Charlie Huff. Reggie Jackson wins, hits the grand slam. We all win. We walk over, game over, beautiful catharsis, the end of the natural, the whole 9 yards. When the reality is, this is the bottom of the 8th. There's 1 out. There's a guy on first. Willie Randolph's at the fucking plate, trying to engage. No, better yet. You've got it's the bottom of the order.
This is a complex metaphor, Tom.
The pitcher's batting third. You got to somehow get past the pitcher. Do you bring in the righty for the 9th? And can you manufacture 2 runs this inning so that you can make a push and win and get 3 more and win by 5 and score 5 runs and 5 outs? That's the scenario, and no one likes that scenario.
So let me use a hockey
right
metaphor.
Now psychologically is the catharsis, and that's what we want, and we're not going to get it. The people who are fighting us on this are going to do everything in their power not to give it to us.
My hockey metaphor is I'd pull the goalie.
We're down. Yeah, it's you're down by 1. There's 35 seconds left. Now, the better hockey metaphor, right, is the following: the end of
beating the shit out of
Russia from the Davos perspective. From the Davos perspective, they're down by 1. They're the Russians in the Lake Placid game, and because they've never been in a losing position, they don't know how to improvise. And he didn't pull his goalie, and because he didn't pull his goalie, he probably lost that game. He doesn't know how to do.
That's a counterfactual that I don't know if I buy. But just speaking of,
I buy it. They've never been this close to losing.
I think
in every other scenario,
right up until you said, therefore they lost the game, gives he to pull his goalie. That's where I said.
Well, I mean, if he had pulled his goalie, he would have had a much better chance of winning. He didn't pull his goalie because
put it this way: if he had pulled his goalie, it might have played better. I'll give you that much.
Well, let me put it this way. A guy like Tikhonov at that moment in time had never been in that position. And then all the pressure of losing that game hit him and he froze. And what I see from them at this point,
a gulag after the game,
exactly.
Freeze too.
What I'm saying is that the people who are so good at this, they have their Gantt chart and they're running their Gantt chart. I watch the European Union very, very closely. And what I see from them is, well, on July 10th, we have to do this. And on August 14th, we're going to do this. And on this date here and that date there, and we're doing this. And it's all a big Gantt chart. It's all a big Microsoft project file to them. They don't know how to play jazz, these people. They don't know how to improvise, but they're very good at reading the chart. We're dealing with Trump, who's more of a jazz musician.
There's kind of 2 out.
I hate to say it, but he's really good at improvising.
What you're saying. I mean, there's the catharsis of Hiroshima, Nagasaki, signed the paper, it's over. That doesn't apply to the Cold War. Both sides have nukes. But I think what you're saying, Tom, is part of us is like we might be able to do like a end of the Cold War where it just kind of fizzles out. You can go for the catharsis, but that might not work. The catharsis might be global thermonuclear.
Working overtime.
Yeah, so I
think Trump and Putin are working overtime to make sure that does not happen.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think if things slip domestically because of that, well,
Yeah, no, I mean that might be it. Where it's like, it's right now.
I think the cathartic moment would be arresting Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal and Mike Pompeo.
I do like Jim's consistency throughout the whole discussion. I love
that idea, Jim.
Find these men and arrest them. He has just been walking the middle line, dude. Just find them.
I think you just take Lindsey Graham's dildo away from him.
I'll take anything. I mean, I'll take anything, and I will tell you this: that a month and a half ago, I was chatting with Dexter White, and he was like, "You know what? We need to put the scalps need to come on the table now. If not, he's going to lose operational tempo, and they're going to grind him out."
Yeah.
So I'm not. I'm telling you what I'm telling you. The worst. Let me put it this way: what's the worst that can happen if you keep the faith? Oh, you were wrong.
So the guys you're mad at,
as far as I'm concerned, I don't give a shit. I'm allowed to be wrong.
The guys you're mad at, Massey and Rand Paul, where you guys may disagree is they may just see the debt as the biggest problem.
And I think that's a very first order argument. because when you only look at one side of the balance sheet, Dave, you're not looking at the balance sheet.
Yeah, the
That's
balance sheet's over in China. The other side's in China. When we
No, there's
sell
assets.
bonds,
There's assets on this. There's assets on this balance sheet.
when we pull capital from abroad to muddle through, they're buying ownership in us.
But that's the nature of the transition, is to stop doing that and to,
Well,
I
that's why
think
I'm not a big fan of depending on foreign capital.
Yeah.
We're going to be delivering Chinese takeout to the Chinese if we're not careful.
I think that we're gonna. I think we invite capital in to become partners, not, which is what Trump is trying to do by bringing in billions and hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars worth of investment capital. And again, I did a podcast with Vince Lanci about the whole day. I did a podcast with Vince Lanci on this the other day. I think you guys might benefit from this, because Vince did a better job of explaining it than I could ever do it right here. I'm dead serious. Mm-hmm. And which is that the stable coin between stable coins and everything else, and when I say defend the international par value of the dollar, what I'm saying is that we're going to tell you, if you put $1 into our economy, you're going to get $1 out. But if you choose not to put $1 into our economy, if you choose to fight us, then you're going to get 95 cents for every dollar that you need from us.
There's two ways for capital to come in. There's two ways for capital to come in. One is to buy our debt. Right. They're buying ownership, buying our assets.
Right.
The other is to actually build wealth creating capabilities here.
Yes.
And that's the win. Because
yes.
what happens is that's the case where they will be able to take the profits home, but our workforce will get paid. Our workforce will get paid.
That's exactly what Trump and Bessent are trying to do.
That's right. But when capital comes here to buy up our debt, to buy up our treasuries, we're just getting deeper in debt.
No, I agree, Dave. What I'm saying
is, as Stephanie Pombo said, by the way,
what everybody's really worried about is everybody dumps our treasuries, and because we're a mess, and everybody dumps our treasuries, and the long end of the curve goes to 9%, and then our banks fail, and then the world fails, and yada yada. Okay, fine. The other side of that is with the stablecoin argument. The other side of this is the stablecoin argument, which is that you have all these treasuries, but you don't need them anymore. How about you take those treasuries, you pledge them in as dollar stablecoins within our system in order to invest in our system? You're still going to get paid on your treasuries, but you're going to invest here. And
that assumes that the treasuries have value.
Well, if the assumption is, do we have value because we're building wealth generating processes?
Yeah, but that's the real collateral. The real collateral that Bessent and Trump are attempting to use is whatever the mineral resources of the U.S. is, or with the farm
that's
resources,
the first stage of it.
And the labor resources, and et cetera, et cetera. That's the real capital.
That's the
bond.
And we have and when I keep saying, when I say the balance sheet of the country, what I mean is that we talk about the debt, and we don't talk about the unmonetized, unbelievable amount of assets that have been written down to fucking zero by environmental legislation.
No. But these assets have always been here. But the debt is what's changing. Our hard assets, our resources, our inland waterways, our educated population, they're all here. But the debt has been changing.
But Dave, those assets are here, but as far as the balance sheet of the United States is concerned, and as far as the cash flow of the United States is concerned, they are zero, because they've
been negated.
Not used. Gold in the ground is not gold.
I agree with that. I get tired of that argument.
Gold in the ground is worth nothing if you don't pull it out of the ground.
Well, I live on a lake.
Oil in the ground that you don't pull out of the ground is worth nothing.
Oh no, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. That's savings. That's savings.
Well, then we have saved, and now we're going to deploy our savings to pay off our debt.
That's the oil in the ground is our strategic petroleum reserve.
Oil in the ground, yes, I agree. But what I'm also saying is, those get monetized, those get mobilized. Right. Now they generate cash flow. and now they generate income, which offsets the debt. And now, as far as now it's an income, now it's a revenue stream issue. Like, look, a company, like, the question everybody has here is that how much equity is left in the United States?
Tons.
Thank you. Then fuck all these arguments about debt.
But the equity is always no. But
balance sheet.
We've always had the oil. We've always had the timber. We've always had the land. We've always had all of the things you're talking about, which make us uniquely powerful. What we haven't had is this much debt. The debt is the variable. And the debt is enough of a variable that it is now becoming dangerous in some people's minds, which happens to include mine.
I didn't, and mine. Why do you think I'm so arguing so fucking hard that we have to start the process of, we have to do both things? Start cutting the fucking spending, stop sending the debt out, change the way we fund the country, which is by issuing new debt to buy cheap Chinese crap to bring over here and call it GDP. I've been saying this for years.
We all have.
Like, I don't like, debt to GDP is dumb, because like the debt and the GDP is just spending. We're spending it on hookers and blow. We're not spending it on fucking shit that matters.
Well, the GDP numbers are so fabricated. For example,
the GDP numbers are just dumb. Like, it's a bad statistic. It's bad data.
The GDP numbers don't include P. They're not product.
Right. Exactly. It's gross national spending.
It's a velocity argument. Now, here's a bone I like to pick occasionally, and that is, for example, bigger part of GDP is healthcare.
Yeah.
Well, healthcare is not GDP, in my opinion. Healthcare is the cost of keeping a rapidly depreciating asset alive.
Agreed.
So if you
I
have
don't consider G part of a GDP either, by the way. Government spending.
Gross? Oh yeah, absolutely not. Unless they governments occasionally create wealth. When they build it, when Eisenhower built the interstate highway system, he created wealth. Sure. Right?
Well, he also created a long-term problem.
You've written books on this, I'm told. You've written books on this.
Agreed about all that as well, guys.
But still, there are times when they build a bridge or something. You know, there is wealth creation. Mm-hmm. I got into it with someone the other day about MMT, and they were talking about how good it was. I go, no, MMT, no. You don't want the government deciding how to run the economy like that. No. So the question is the debt a problem or not? That seems to be where we disagree. And
no, it's not that I did. No, I don't think the debt is a problem. I think the debt is the thing that is forcing the change, is what I'm getting at. That is the problem, and that it's got to be the impetus to get us to change the way we generate revenue, and then by definition, after that, generate wealth.
I think
you gotta change the way the government funds itself, and such that you can change the way the way the people generate wealth.
The only outcome that I can imagine from, if you really run through this, is what will amount to be a global default on all the debt.
At some point,
I think that would be that'll be the necessary outcome in order for civilization to continue.
But the people, the average person doesn't understand that they will be part of that global default.
That's right. Well, it means your living standard will go way down.
That will default on someone else, not us, and they will default on us.
And what I'm arguing is that when that default happens, not if, when, and it's happening. And it's going to happen.
It's happening.
The question is, in what order does everything default? Because it's not all going to default all at once. Mm-hmm. So who's most vulnerable to a debt default? That's one. And then you're going to watch capital rotate around the world. In the process, if you do not set up better processes to capture that process of default in the United States, and we default first. Again, I've been saying this for years. This is a race. Who defaults first? Europe wants us to default first versus they default first.
I'd say there's a very excellent chance that China defaults first.
That's also a possibility.
Like next Wednesday.
Now, well, here's something to throw into the mix. The United States is finally waking up to the long memory of Europe's perfidy in terms of how it has abused its former colonies. The Chinese have a very long memory about the Opium Wars. There's overlap in the incentive structure of that Venn diagram.
Right.
So, if you want my honest opinion, I think
we like it when you lie. Actually, that works better for me. So, go ahead.
If you want my honest opinion, I think that Trump, Xi, and Putin are all running a multifaceted game to take out Europe and then figure out and then negotiate a different world afterwards.
I could believe
that's the long term.
I actually do. I
like that model.
No, I actually have. I couldn't base. It's based on fucking nothing. But I've just had that feeling.
No, I like that model.
Well, I've got a lot of sentimental feelings about Europe, but I believe it.
I by the way, think the most grounded leader in the world is Putin.
Who's that?
The most grounded leader.
Yeah, I think Putin's the most grounded leader in the world.
He's not bombastic.
Well, he's not. He doesn't bluff. He's a nationalist. And the other guy I like Viktor Orban. I like Meloni.
I love Meloni.
Isn't she great?
And look at what's happening.
Watching her hammer Macron and Macron's father.
So, guys, here's another way to frame all this. Look at what's happening across Southern Europe.
I'm not sure what is happening across. You mean I haven't heard a peep. I haven't heard a peep out of Greece and Spain in the last 3 months.
Again, take my framework and now play with it. Trump is trying to split the European Union. What are the three legs of the European Union power? Italy, France, and Germany. France and Germany have been ganging up on Italy for years, neutralizing them and then making them basically France and Germany's bitch. Correct? Mario Monti, Mario Draghi, all these technocratic governments and blah, 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 along with the Vatican and the commie Pope and all that shit, right? Now, all that's changed. What's the last thing we saw? The commie Pope. What's the last thing we saw? J.D. Vance visits Rome.
Oh, that's interesting.
Georgia Meloni and summons
Ursula
von der Satan.
And say that again. And what?
And summons Ursula von der Satan to Rome for talks. This is Vance and Trump putting their nuts on the table, going, "She has my backing, not you. Italy has my backing, not Germany."
Did you see the video clip? Did you see the video clip of Macron shaking people's hands and Meloni standing in the line looking at him? I've never seen stink eye like I saw with Meloni.
I didn't see that.
You didn't grow up in an Italian household. Like, okay, that's fine. Because I looked at that. I'm like,
I forgot.
I looked at that. I'm like, that's Thursday. I'm like, that's somebody.
We're getting kind of a Guinea presentation here. Okay.
I'm like, I saw that and I'm like, so you didn't. You cooked the meatballs too long. Like that's
okay,
I've seen
Tom,
that.
Here's the question: why does time fly so fast in Italy? Why does time fly so fast in Italy? You must know this punchline.
I don't.
Every time you turn around, a day goes by.
Oh, nice. I love it. No, I have a whole lot of great Italian jokes. Like, what's an innuendo?
What?
It's an Italian suppository. It's an Italian suppository.
God damn it.
Why do the Puerto Ricans put their garbage out in clear plastic bags so the Italians can go window shopping? This is a very New York joke. Okay.
These are
and that's a joke. That's a joke written by a New York Irishman about New York Puerto Ricans and Italians. Like, an Irishman wrote that joke. So yeah, there's many.
I heard a great one. What's the difference between Santa Claus and Anne Frank?
Oh God, here we go.
The direction they go, the direction they travel in the chimney.
God damn it! Oh, Tommy! Oh my
God! Mine. I saw
What's the
that the other
difference?
day.
I think Kunstler's going to jump out on that one.
What's the difference?
Oh,
What's the difference between an Italian grandmother and a black? Sorry, what's the difference between an Italian grandmother and a barracuda? 50 pounds in a black dress.
who is it? Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais had a joke that he really loved. The guy goes up to the pearly gates and he tells a Holocaust joke, and they say, "Oh, that's just appalling. That's not funny." And Gervais says, "I guess you had to be there."
Oh, fuck. God damn.
Oh God, I think we're done.
All right.
We're in trouble here.
The
This
other
is
one?
live, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that just so good thing you're not on YouTube.
That's hard. I mean, the only one I've ever seen that's made me like gasp was whoever said white man can't jump hasn't seen videos of 9/11.
Oh no, no.
Ouch. Yeah, that was where I saw him.
Oh,
Went
shit.
like, oh
Oh
god,
shit.
oh
Oh my
god,
God. My
God
hands are
damn.
on my ass. My hands are on my ass right now covering it.
I guess you had to be there. That's fun.
I guess you had to be there.
That's intense. I like that. I'm taking that
Yeah.
one. Putting that one in my pocket.
Gervais and Bill Burr have
Ah.
more guts than any pair of
Oh.
comedians. Those two
God
are wild. So I think we're more on the same page. I do believe that we agree that there's chaos in our future.
There's chaos and there will be a strong man or not.
Yep.
All right. I mean,
I'm unclear on the strong man. I could imagine there being no man. I mean, I can imagine
no,
going the other
it'll
way.
be strong man
Yeah.
that prevents the kinetic, or there will be kinetic and a strong man will arise after that. It's just where do
Well,
you
one
want to
of the
put that
theories I heard
bookmark?
from someone is they said that the whole thing's being teed up to cause chaos, and so that
They
what we
can roll in
perceive,
power.
we perceive that a white knight will save us.
Yeah.
This is the Hitler model.
Yeah, I've heard that one. Yeah,
And
they're gonna dress it up
There
as
is no white knight. I've never.
Of course, no.
I've never ever.
there never is a
Never
there
ever
never is
seen
a
a
white
white
knight.
But they'll dress it up as that.
Someone also said, who was it? I guess it was in a book, but it was presented by what's his face, Netscape fame. He said that if you look at any organized society, no matter whether it's communist or democracy or whatever, at the top you will find an oligarchy. Period. Always.
Yeah,
And
Sure.
and what differs, the favorable part of democracies is we have some say over who the oligarchy is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, you know,
Go ahead, Tommy. I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say like a one Hail Mary for like, to try to grow your way out of the debt would be like asteroid mining, but he just nicks the SpaceX.
I don't think you can grow your way out of the debt. I think
No,
that's a
neither do
fantasy.
I. But
think
if
that's a
there was,
fantasy.
it was kind of like the Hail Mary. It's like, yeah, the literal city-sized chunk of gold in space, but we just nix the.
I don't think you're. I don't think you grow your way out of that. I think you grow the asset side of the balance sheet in active terms in order to
Regardless,
offset
they're
the
getting
debt.
rid of
Hey,
it.
the last time,
The growth part
hey,
makes it
let me say
less
something
bumpy.
for a change. The last time that that humanity found an asteroid full of gold was when the Spanish entered Mexico and Peru in the 1520s, and
Fucked up Spain.
yeah, and about 75 years later they were bankrupt.
That's right. That's
Yep.
exactly right.
So you're saying we got
That's
75
exactly
years
right.
and we find an
They
asteroid?
Well, they
failed.
found, you know,
No, what he's saying is that the incipient inflation from the massive rise in the gold supply destroyed the.
Well, also they failed to
destroyed the
develop an
global markets.
economy. They failed to develop an economy.
Yeah.
So the gold went
Agreed.
to Europe, and the Europeans developed an economy to go after the Spanish gold. Gold in itself does not make you richer. I mean, it's a currency. It's a bean count, right?
It's
No.
savings.
It's savings. That's right. And if gold becomes important and you happen to have more than the next guy, you're rich.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous about all this chatter about Bitcoin and how it's going to make us rich. And I'm going, holy, come on, guys.
No.
I get the Bitcoin story, but when sovereign states starts talking about setting up sovereign wealth funds made of Bitcoin, you've not created one penny's worth of wealth.
Now, what you've done is you've created savings that you can issue collateral against. Bitcoin is just another form of hard collateral. That's
Right.
more movable than gold. That's all it is. It's
Well,
savings just like gold, and that's
it's
it
also a
at
great
best.
risk of getting nuked once they decide they don't like it.
It's many things are at risk of getting nuked if they decide they don't like it. But
That's
Well, there are too
exactly
many
right.
things out there that are
Begin,
figments.
kind of like I don't know, like Kiev. So
Yeah.
let's hope that doesn't happen.
I think that
Sorry.
might no. I think it's Tim Dillon said. I think yesterday, the comedian, in the for the desire of world peace, we need Russia to nuke Kyiv and get this fucking over with in the name of world peace. And I don't think he's entirely wrong.
He hasn't read Annie Jacobson's book, Nuclear War.
Yeah, I read it. It's all right. It's fucking.
Well, it's all right, but it also tells you that once the first launch occurs, the cascading failure
But I've
is
also had guys on that like were part of the structuring at Raven Rock, and they all said her understanding of it's horseshit.
okay. I could believe that too, because how she got her information is not knowable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's probably that it's wrong because she doesn't understand just how bad it is. Like that
Well,
that
well,
you
the,
know.
well, the other thing is that mutually assured destruction. You have to convince your opponent you'll do it,
Yeah.
even if you won't do it.
Yeah.
And so
And there's
so
the
so
perception.
that's going to be the story no matter what. We can never say we would never do it.
Honestly,
So here's a funny story. I'm talking to colleagues when I'm about 27 years old in the faculty lounge, having lunch. I'm talking to colleagues. I'm saying, to be honest, mutually assured destruction has worked.
oh yeah.
And I'm talking about it like a young punk who doesn't know his ass from the hole in the ground, but stating fact. And some old fuck behind me clears his throat and jams his face into the fucking conversation. It was Hans Beta. I got dressed down by Hans Beta for supporting mutually assured destruction. I'm going, holy shit. Holy shit. My colleagues thought that was funny.
No,
They enjoyed the bitch slap.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe a nuclear or not a nuclear, an alien invasion might be the only thing that can save all
You
of
got
it.
to say nuclear, Tommy. Yes, say
Nuclear.
nuclear.
Nuclear. Well, I mean, I
Like
didn't mean
George
to.
Bush.
Nuclear.
I meant to say
They get it wrong.
Yeah,
nuclear.
yeah.
Nuclear. I don't know, man. It might be an alien invasion. I think that might wrap it all up, but it's also pretty fucked if I'm hoping for that.
So, look, if we're all dancing around the real problem is that what happens if AI is actually emergent and decides that this doesn't want us around? Like at that
Well,
point, I'm betting on the sun.
that might be
It's
the
all
strong
out.
that might be the strong man. I don't
Did
know.
you listen? Did anyone hear the Tegmark interview? A guy named Tegmark from MIT. I can't
Mhm.
remember who interviewed him. Jan Jekielek from
I've
Epic
heard that. I've
Times.
heard that name. Yeah, take one.
And he talked about AI in a completely rational way. And the problem is it's an arms race. There's no brake on it, and there's no mechanism to break it. And I've never thought that AI was going to get sentient.
No, I don't.
My fear of the AI world is it's going to get so good that there will be no humans who understand it at all now. And so it's doing so much stuff for us that when it finally comes time where someone says, "Look, this is broken, fix it," and everyone will just go, I don't know how it works.
Yeah, no, I
That
think.
scares me. That scares me.
Yeah, no, I think it will. I honestly, and there's no way. I think it's probably. I don't think it's sentient. I don't think you could make a machine sentient. But I honestly don't think
Autonomous, though.
autonomous though.
Autonomous
Yeah,
is
that's what.
different.
Yeah, no, I think it's probably already run away. I just
Well, some
do.
people think so.
I
But
really.
the idea that it's so interwoven and that the AI is writing the code for the AI, and that's all going to
And once it
happen, I
starts
think.
making successive generations, you can only understand Mark 3, but it's up to Mark 20 where each one is only understood by the one right below it. Yeah, no, it's you've created a telescoping, I don't know, distance of understanding, and it'll run away.
Yeah,
But
but
you're
when
going to
all
get
is said
some
and done, it's just math with an electric switch on it.
right. But if everything in our world's being run by this, and
We'll
there's no humans who are
we'll not
now
be able to turn the
mentally
switch off.
Well, it's
Well, I
Skynet.
don't
It's
even
in
worry
our
about turning the switch off, but when it needs some intervention, it's like going to Best Buy and trying to get real technical advice on buying a television. You're going to get some purple-haired nutball. And so here's a related example. Cornell has sent people to DC to try to talk about what's going on campuses with all these shutdowns of research money. And what I'll tell you is, I'm not being a whiny bitch. What I'll tell you though is the chaos is palpable. And I'm not,
Where?
academia
The chaos where? On the campus?
on campus, yeah. The reason is um, research groups run on research grants and they're now all shut down. So you've got 15-man research groups. These are very ambitious people doing, I think, good stuff. They have postdocs, they have grad students, and all of a sudden there's no money. And so now postdoc, now if you're getting a PhD and all of a sudden your next step is a postdoc and no one's hiring. And so it's really causing chaos. And if it's a warning shot across the bow, boy, academia's been overdue for those. No question about it. No question about it. But if it goes on for too long, it's like a patient that's flatlined and brain death will start to kick in and the system will break. Now, and I've talked to trustees about this because I've been saying, where the fuck are the spokespeople for academia to say, okay, here's how the system works. And
they're too busy. They're too busy defending DEI.
Well, that's what the Harvard fucking president did one day, and I could not believe it. So I'm told by one of my trustee buddies that when we send guys to DC to try to say, here's what's going on, we can't find the person to tell. And that's kind of so it's like DC has become autonomous.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of thing.
And we're coming up on 2 hours, so we'll wrap it up. I was just thinking when you said about it won't be able to understand what's wrong with AI. Yeah, but that would be bad for us, not necessarily for AI. It'd be bad for us. We're gonna go, this thing's off the rails, but for the AI, it might not matter if it's wrong. I mean, what are the things?
No. But again, think of the trivial situation where you need to call a help desk, and you get this person who can't speak English, and you can't resolve your problem. And these are trivial problems.
Yeah.
When AI is really being used in a very big way, there will be no mechanism for what you really want to know is somewhere in the system is a person who's got a head on their shoulder say, look, let me clear the fucking debris. Let me solve your problem for you. There will be that person will not exist.
I agree. And who will suffer from that? Human race or AI?
Oh, humans.
Yeah.
We will have created a system that's too brittle.
That supersedes us.
Right.
Like the monkeys before us.
But it's not AI superseding us. It's us creating a system that just doesn't work anymore. And at the same time, you're committed to it. Ow.
I think that's it.
Did you just shart, Jim? Did you?
No, I got a leg cramp in my
God.
hamstring.
I think that is it superseding us by default.
At some level, yeah.
If
but I don't think of it as
one of us suffers.
I don't see it as like a sci-fi movie. I see it as like
Darwinian selection. One of you just kind of dies out.
Well, but it's one of these. If you take, whenever I go to log into something, how many times do you log in and they say that's not your password? And I go, that is my fucking password, right? It's going to be that times 100. It's going to be so frustrating. And you'll get sent into loops and shit. You'll be sent into loops and you just won't be able to get to where you want to get to. And there won't be the guy who says, let me roll up my sleeves and help you. Right.
Well, I can see that there will be some kind of entropic effect on AI that will degenerate it much more quickly than people might appreciate right now.
Meaning we recognize that it's dog shit.
Well, no, meaning that the AI itself just degenerates and moves towards chaos and disorganization.
That might be the answer to the Fermi paradox. Is the
I mean, that's
organic life dies out, and then there's just shitty AI bouncing around servers.
Well,
That might be the heat death of a
I
planet.
mean, that's exactly the kind of
Shitty
behavior that
bots.
you see with the computerization of help desks and business stuff.
Right,
Is that,
right.
the more they try to make it automated, the more
More
it
fucked.
degenerated to the point where you can't solve any of your routine problems.
You have to go to a portal to get information about your healthcare. And now you're finding yourself having to interpret your own results from the healthcare. And again, these are first world problems right now, but at some point I could perceive that we just are driven bananas by not being able to solve any fucking problem, because you'll go to the hardware store and there won't be a person there. There'll
Yeah,
be a
well, you
kiosk.
already can't solve your medical problems.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
it's almost impossible to navigate through some kind of a medical problem unless you have superhuman powers of patience. The kind
I've
of stuff
not
that
been
my
known for
girlfriend
that
had to
part.
endure, the kind of stuff my girlfriend had to endure going through back surgery was just monumental.
My wife has had 60 surgeries. 60.
Jesus.
It has been an unbelievable ride. And
Jesus.
to the credit of our insurance company, it's gone pretty smoothly. But
Oh,
now she has a canker sore that won't go away right now. And it's really painful. So she's been going to an ENT guy. This is a serious problem. If someone's listening to this, if we have any listeners left who happen to also coincidentally are doctors, email me. Um, had a biopsy done. They said it's not cancerous, but it's been there for a year.
viral.
Well, usually your immune system gets a hold of that, right? When you get a canker sore or something, your immune system finally comes into the rescue when it finally responds. This thing is not going away. And then she's at the dentist, and the dentist said, "Oh, biopsies can miss it." I go, "Oh, fuck me." So she's been sitting on a mouth cancer for a calendar year because the
Nice.
biopsy gave us the wrong result. That would suck.
I hope not.
And you know what it means? You know where you meet hot chicks in your old age? This is Collum's Pearl of Wisdom. You go to craft fairs or antique shows. Nothing but old ladies. Nothing but old
Mhm.
ladies. Uh, I'm going to have to start going to craft fairs and antique shows if this happens, right?
Yeah.
If this goes
Or
real
join the
dark.
Democratic Party.
Oh no, I would kill myself first.
On that cheery note, how it starts, how it ends. I'll kill.
Okay, we can all agree that the real fucking problem is London.
Yeah. No, I think that's the middle ground we could all find. Donald Trump dropped 400
London.
megatons on London tonight. And I think we all can shake hands over that.
We should get Alex Craner in here too, but he's
And
too calm. He's too calm.
we'll irritate him. I'll give him some meth. Um,
Yeah, he is.
for everybody listening, it is live. Yeah, normally,
Hi, Alex.
yeah,
We love you.
we love you, Alex. Everybody,
Oh
please
yeah,
go in the
no,
description.
Alex is the best.
Please go follow all their Twitters. Please go subscribe to all their Substacks or Patreons or whatever the fuck. All the links are in there. All the different podcasts and whatever and newsletters and I don't know, all the other shit's in there. Um, but yeah, no, this was fun as always. Completely unhinged and completely inappropriate. And
Really? Jokes about the Holocaust are unhinged?
yeah, yeah, no, you know, it always ends with make sure that I'm unemployable. Just, if the podcast hasn't
Well,
done it yet,
I think we might be
I'm
doing a
really tucking
four-way on
in,
this one.
yeah, I'm really tucking in the corners the whole unemployable bed. Like, let's really make sure nowhere can I be brought in. But whatever. But yeah,
Dude, you're a white man in America in your 30s. You are not employable.
yeah, I know. That's why I do the podcast.
Doesn't matter what you do on the podcast, Tommy.
By the way,
You're
I know, I'm
that
aware. Dude, when I was at a medical
that
school interview,
generation is really lost. That generation, if you look at the stats, that they're really despondent.
dude,
I mean,
Yeah.
the sort of 25 to 35 crowd is
November 2013.
really
November
is
2013, I was interviewing at the USC Tech School of Medicine, and we're just sitting there, and the black kid next to me, he looks at me, he just goes, "Man, I feel bad for you." I went, "Yeah," and he was right. He was fucking right. My rejection letter
St
beat me home.
Stanford Medical surgery residents, 16 surgery residents, not a white guy among them.
Of course. We're
Yeah.
heading to a collapse and we probably deserve it. Gentlemen, let's
Well,
wrap this up.
academia needs a fastball past his chin. I'm happy to accept a few.
Hell yeah, or a nuke in London. All right, gentlemen,
Nuking London.
thank you so much. Guys, please go in the description. Please go support them all. Please go subscribe to them all on Twitter. Guys, thank you for all your time. It's always a pleasure.